did a lot of drugs and drank a lot of booze and like hurt myself.
Yeah, you mentioned your home. Did you adjust your home in the way that it is the perfect workspace for you now?
I guess perfect is a frame of mind, right? Like I set it up. We moved out of the city. We moved to a very small town. You know, like the population is about 4,000 people. It's like very small, and it's in the forest up north of Canada, and very quiet, right? And I think for me that was a necessary move because I think I'm a fairly sensitive person, and I think that the stimulus of a big city living there was just really starting to get taxing, right? So we moved to a small town, and I think that in itself made working, you know, easier and harder. Easier that I was much more like satisfied with my environment, but harder in that once I became satisfied, I didn't quite have the same, you know, need to like impress. So, you know, it took a little longer, but you know, in a lot of ways, I'm very happy that I came to that conclusion, right?
Okay, because I can assume that a small village has less distraction of the city life.
Yeah,
did you maybe learn some things about yourself that you were putting away?
Over the past 3 years, you know, my wife and I had a baby, and you know, I quit smoking marijuana 3 years ago, and I quit drinking and a lot of things, right? So I found that my perspective, not only on my life, but on what I have created artistically in the past, you know, I had a different viewpoint of why I was doing it and why I've done what I've done. And that was, you know, it was a real enlightening experience, right? Because I was able to say, okay, well, maybe my motivation for making that music was based on something that without the drugs and without the chaos doesn't exist, right? So now what do I do, you know? And so the record took this whole time to kind of like, you know, figure out. And musically, it's relatively simple, I guess, in a certain way, but just in terms of like finding, you know, a sense of kind of personal bravery to be able to present it as the first true record in several years was like a long process for me, because, you know, I was constantly conflicted with the fact that I'm like, well, the people who have supported me up to this point expect a certain thing from me, and if I present them something that's not that, you know, what are the ramifications of that? But I kind of came to the conclusion where I'm like, well, I really like it, and it's the only thing that I really want to hear right now.
Okay, so, but maybe the fact that you became a father and more, does it also put the music that you created so far, which maybe also could be seen as a child, became put in a different perspective?
Oh yeah, but I think the thing, you know, I had to keep in mind as well is that music is not necessarily an obsession that's based on like, you know, music is not something that I don't need to do, and I do because I enjoy it. Music is something that happens regardless of what's going on in my life. And so when, you know, the baby came, absolutely, you know, my priorities changed. But that didn't stop my musical ideas from like just constantly kind of like, you know, steeping, right? So.